Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Danger Recall. That's right, it's Tuesday. This is the second best podcast on the internet, first being the Danger Club podcast. I'm going to keep saying that until it's drilled into your minds, Dangerlings, and you believe it, because that's what it's all about. Brainwashing. I'm only joking. We're not trying to brainwash you. My name is Colin Hubbard. I am here to be your host for the next sort of half an hour or so. I have some amazing guests with me today. You're never gonna believe this. I have Mr. Ross Harmston.
Hello.
How you doing, Ross?
I'm wonderful. I've got a day off. Huh? Yeah, Boss Ross.
Yeah, hashtag Boss Ross. Let's get it trending. All right, and we've got James Lockhart. How you doing, James?
Oh, hello. I'm doing okay. Thanks, Carl. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. I haven't got a hashtag for you, I'm afraid to say. But just Foxy Loxy. Why not? Let's have that. Let's get that trending as well. We have Mr. Dan Thompson.
Hello, Colin. I look forward to the dozen or so people that listen to this show getting a hashtag trending worldwide.
Hey, man, there's more people than that listen to this show. There's
Humble
loads of people
beginnings.
that listen to this show. I think there's an underground kind of sector of the community that go out there and they sort of rinse it and download it for free. And
if there are, then get on the fucking Patreon, all right?
And that's it. That's all. That's everyone that's with us today. That's who we're going to talk to. Whoa! Who was that? Everyone in the world. You're never going to believe this, but we have April Hughes with us today.
Hey!
Hello there, underground dangerlings.
How you doing, April Hughes?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm so happy to see your lovely faces and hear your lovely voices.
Oh my God, she's back. Everybody, she's back for Danger Recall. Can we get some clicks? Let's get some clicks. Oh, it's like a poetry reading.
I can't believe you're actually asking us to do a sound effect recorded through our mics.
Why not?
Normally it's the other way around. You're like, no, don't do it. No, I'll put it in post.
Yeah.
April Hughes, what are you here for? What's going on?
I am here to talk about Big Mike. Bring her back a little bit. Have a little chat with her, see how she's doing, where she is, what she's up to.
Oh my God, we're definitely going to talk about that at the end of the show. We're going to talk about where you think Big Mike is now. Dan's going to fill you in as well because he actually he played a little bit of Big Mike without you.
Please do the voice. Please do the voice, Dan.
Well, he didn't really play you. He just gave an update a little bit later on one of your exploits, if you know what I mean. Your character, what they were doing at the time. So yeah, he didn't really do an impression of you. He wasn't like, "Hey, I'm
So what was that, Colin?
No, we'll leave that in the past. Let's not talk about that anymore. Right, April, how's it been going? Yeah, right. How's it been going? What's going on?
Well, it's been a year, hasn't it? Is that what you mean? In my real life, how's it been going?
Yeah, how's it been going? Are you, because when you left us, you literally went to Thailand about 2 minutes later and then trained to box people, didn't you?
Yeah, trained to be a world-class fighter. That was amazing. Yeah, that was so long ago now. So yeah, I went to Thailand, ended up spending 2 months there and trained at a Muay Thai boxing gym. Came back, pandemic. Can we say that word? Don't know.
Yeah, we've been saying it.
Yeah, and now I am currently in sunny Eastbourne, which is not so sunny, doing a show which feels really great and exciting.
Yeah, nice. I bet it's great to be back on the old boards.
Yeah.
In a big theatre. I've only been doing a little bit of an immersive show, so nothing too amazing, but it really does feel good to just get out there in front of an audience again, doesn't it?
And I bet did the audience feel like the vibe there as well? Is it like a great energy? People coming back together, enjoying something together that we've lost for so long.
Oh my God, we talked about it quite a lot. We need people, I think. People get it's a weird thing, isn't it? When we're not able to congregate with other people, I think it drives us a little bit insane, as we've all kind of discovered over this last year. So getting back together with people, it's really nice, isn't it? People are just like, yes, let's do it. You've seen crowds at festivals and in theatres, and it's so cool, man. It is really nice. Yeah, we've all still got to be careful, but it's great. It's great, man. It's great. How's everyone else doing? What's going on?
Three people
good.
you've thrown that to are Ross.
Just everyone at the same time.
Yeah, just speak at the same time. You know what Zoom's like. It picks it all up. It's fine.
Good. I've got a day off today, so I'm doing
that.
absolutely nothing. So, that's good. It's also not very sunny here as well. It's kind of overcast, cloudy. So I got my hair cut yesterday. So got the old short back and sides. And when I was getting it, I absolutely sweated my ass off, but then because I was sweating, I was immediately then sweating more because I felt more embarrassed I was sweating, and the guy was like dabbing me with the tissue on my forehead and like blowing me with the fucking the thing, and I was just like, oh god, and all he was doing was the short back and sides. That was it. Like, I don't know why I was sweating so much. And I had shorts and a big t-shirt on. I was like, oh, God. Oh, yeah. So that was my embarrassing trip to the hairdresser. So, yeah.
So are you like Ross Sampson Harmston? It's just like, it's the source of your power and you're having it stripped away, man.
He's lost everything now. Yeah. Dan, how you are you just drinking water? Sorry, Dan. I always do that, don't I? I always get to talk to you when you're just like, I just want you to, one day I'm going to get Dan to do a spit take that nobody sees.
Everything's a trap. Everything is a trap. I'm great. I'm good. I got my. I talked on the show. Oh goodness me, a while ago. It might have even been on a Dangerous Wednesdays. I talked about it, but I had my my sword fighting training. That was back in July. I did that. So I did 10 days of sword training for my stage combat qualification, and then on the day of the exam, my body clapped out, and I wasn't able to make it to the exam, and I had to miss the actual exam itself. But my teacher for it got me back, squared it with the examiner basically, that I could go back a month later on the next course and just do the exam. So I went back in, and my partner came back. He'd already passed the exam, but he came back on his day off so that we could rehearse it. Somebody else who'd been ill came back, and the three of us remembered a month-old fight over the course of a couple of days, and then did the exam at the end of it. And I finally got the grades through for it yesterday.
Yes. What did you get?
I got a double distinction.
Double distinction.
I did actually I did see the fight on your Instagram, and it looks sick.
Oh, thank you. It was longsword and case of rapiers, which is a pair of rapiers, which is an insane weapon system, and no one teaches it because it's only used for a very, very short time in history in like Italian city-states where you might be out for a walk and 7 Medici try and mug you, so you want 2 swords. That's the only time anyone uses it. So it's never used in theatre. Yeah. But we decided to do it because it would be fun. So yes, I'm trained in a whole lot of swords now. I've no idea what I'm going to do with it. Maybe
well, now your descriptions in our combat will be even better.
Yeah,
now, because you can be
like, get up and do like
fighting
presentations of exactly how it happens.
7 Medici jump out at you. What are you going to do?
Oh my god, I'm insufferable. I was watching The Count of Monte Cristo the other day, and I was just like halfway through it, I was like, "That's a Barry 4." My partner was like, "Oh, for God's sake!"
It's kind of like when you start learning about film, when you start learning about shots and things like that, you don't watch the film anymore. You just start watching all the like long cuts and takes and like how they went down those stairs and went into the eye and stuff like that. It's crazy. I don't know what films I've been watching, but you know what I mean. So the question is, Dangerlings, who's more badass? Is it April Hughes or Dan Thompson?
It's definitely April Hughes.
I think it would depend, wouldn't it? Like, if we're using weapons, it's gonna be Dan. But hand-to-hand combat, it's Big Mike.
Except you trained in real fighting. I trained in fake fighting. That's the difference. I'm very good at not hurting you with a sword.
Yeah.
Who's going to look better? Dan.
Dan looks better, yeah. But yeah. But April will actually kick your ass. All right. Nice. James, anything? Do you want to add to that, mate? Do you want to not about the arse kicking, just about anything?
Yeah. No arse kicking, but I went to a cute little festival in Wiltshire.
Oh, how was that?
Honey Fest. It was really nice, actually. Yeah, 300 people, a little pub in the middle of nowhere, which was nice. With some of my sort of mainly the sort of Dangerlings and streaming community. So hello, Matt Letty, Amy as well, Stu Jackson. And his lovely partner, and Candice as well. So that was really, really nice, and we had lots of fun times because they allowed fire pits. So Candice bought a little fire cauldron. So I actually got to sit by a campfire again and have a few drinks and
So
chat.
nice.
It was
So
lovely.
nice.
Yeah,
I
it was
gave you a
lovely.
call as well, didn't I? I didn't realise that you were down in Honeyfest. I was like, hello, James, are you around? I'm cycling
around?
past your house. Would you like a
Yes.
beer?
Uh-huh.
You're
I
like,
was
no,
like,
I'm at a festival. What are you doing calling me? I'm off and, I'm off my
I
pumps.
didn't say that.
I know
I
you
said
didn't.
that would be terrific. And had I been here, I'd have been all over that. But yeah, I'm currently quite a long way away in a field.
Oh, mate, I was quite jealous, actually. I was quite jealous.
It was really nice. Yeah, it was nice to go to something so small. There was only 300 people, so it was really, 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 really small. But great fun. And big up Wiltshire. Tweet us, Wiltshire.
Tweet us,
Stu-
Wiltshire, yeah.
Stu used to live there, and he called it. And I was like, do you know what? Everyone's so friendly. And I had so many. I wore my ears pretty much the whole weekend, and so many compliments, genuine compliments about my ears. Like everyone was just like, "Oh, you're right, Foxy." It's like- and I was like, "Oh, what lovely people around here." And Stu was like, "Yeah, weird Wiltshire, mate." Apparently, it's known as Weird Wiltshire. It's where if you're a little bit odd, you go. So maybe I should move out there.
I went to a wedding in Wiltshire the other weekend, a couple of weekends ago. That was amazing as well. Just being around people at a wedding. Again, going back to like people getting back together. It was just great to be on a floor dancing to ABBA with, 20, 30 other people that you don't know, just like, yay, weddings. And I was down in Wiltshire and I cycled to the wedding on my Brompton, right, with like a bow tie on and like brogues. And I looked like such a London wanker in the country, just cycling through the country. And I did get a lot of like Range Rover looks, like people driving past me like, who's I don't know what the accent is, but like, who's that geezer? Like, yeah. And even the taxi driver, because I didn't cycle home, I was drunk, and it was pitch black in Wiltshire in the countryside. So I got out of the cab, and the taxi driver just started going, "All right, London way, see you later, brother." And I was like, "All right, mate." Oh, Cockney geezer. As I was walking into my Airbnb, I was like, "Shh, it's midnight. Shut up and be quiet." Yeah, so that was my experience of Wiltshire. Anyway, So we are talking about episode 51 today. The best laid plans of mice and gnomes. April Hughes, you sat there in silence for a whole episode, for episode 50. And we talked about this last week, a few of us talking about how some of us just didn't care and some of us were quite frustrated. Like we were sitting there going, oh my God, come on, April's here. We haven't got her for long. What's going on? How did you feel just sitting there listening to us for an hour?
Do you know what? This is going to sound like I'm trying to be really nice and stuff, but I love listening to you guys. So it was kind of like a front row seat to, seeing the podcast be made. So I genuinely did love it. And I've always said, spectator sport, I love watching. Yeah. So I actually had a great time. I hadn't played in such a long time. And I kind of, before, like me and Dan met and we had a coffee and we talked about it a bit. And I spent a lot of time thinking, what does Big Mike look like? And I completely just thought, don't worry about anything else. Just go in there and see what happens. And then as you guys started playing, I was like, oh God, yeah, there are rules. And there are classes and there are alignments and there are all these decisions. And so it was kind of nice to sit there and just let you guys show me the way of D&D.
Nice.
In retrospect, it probably did help actually, because you were sitting there just kind of getting back into the vibe of it. And, sometimes it is a case of watching someone do something before you jump up. If you're in a show, you watch someone do that role beforehand, or, some people, like when you're learning a song or something, you'll see other interpretations first and things. So, yeah, I get that actually. Yeah. So at the time, I was one of those people who's on the other side of the fence. I was like, oh my God, quick, we've got this person sitting here. She needs to get involved. But yeah, other people were just like, oh, it's all right. It'll be fine. And actually, they were probably more right than I was in retrospect. We've got music from Sword Coast Soundscapes. We've got Kev McLeod. We've got someone else who my spell check has changed. We've got Tyler Hollander, Nylor, and Ross Bludgeon. We have this lovely intro from you, April. You tell us all about yourself, and then you tell us about Big Mike and all that sort of stuff, which is really nice. It's a really good intro. We all suddenly realised that none of our intros were as good as yours, and our character descriptions were all terrible. Dan, can you comment on that at all?
on how shitty your character descriptions are, Colin. I can talk for hours about that. They're just garbage. Do you have any idea how long it took us to get fan art from you guys because you were so vague about your stupid characters? I didn't even know what Fulton was for about 6 games. I assumed he was a goblin or something. No, your character descriptions were fine, but no, Big Mike's knocked it out of the park. Actually, all of our guests are always great for that because we had Rachel with her portmanteau and then Mike, April, yours was so well thought out. Like your whole class was built around the fact you wanted a unicorn horn. And I was like, after our meeting, we were like, I was like, what are the things that are important to you about the character? And you kind of came up with a load of character stuff, and you were like, and a unicorn horn. Can I have a unicorn? And I was like, I will figure that out somehow.
And I appreciate you, Dan. I appreciate you.
I loved it how we were all. I think when we get a guest in front of the room, I think you'll agree with it. You will agree with me on this, gentlemen. We kind of all get a little bit like, we have to up our game a little bit. Do you know what I mean? It's not just us mugs sitting around the table. We got someone else to impress. So we're just like, we all started upping our games. And I think as characters, we started doing that as well. Like we all started going, well, I did this once. And like MZ just comes out of nowhere and just says, I killed a dragon.
That was so good.
Irrelevant.
No need for it at all. Like, yeah, it's so good. And then I loved this unicorn horn because immediately we've met you for like 2 minutes and you go invisible and slap Shania around the face.
And you actually slapped Drum when he was next to you, which was even better.
I think I know. The little slap came and I was like, oh, that sounded real. And then you immediately go, oh, or Scott, who was it that said she just slapped him?
Because we were sitting really comfortably as well, weren't we? We had you. Am I right in saying that it was you, Ross, and Drum, like all bunched up on this little table? We're not allowed to do that now, but like back in the day, we were all like sitting really close together, weren't we?
Yeah. Oh.
So when you slapped him, it was like you kind of reached right round and gave him a real clump.
Well, at this point, I wasn't well versed in the idea of the podcast and the sound effects. So I was like, how do I make this real? I think also what was funny about that choice is I kind of went in there because you guys are very good at what you do, and
thank you.
Coming in can be quite intimidating. So I was like, I had my little notes of like what Big Mike knows and what's useful. And I was like, I'm going to be so useful and so strong. And then immediately just fell apart and joined in for the fun and started slapping people invisibly. And I was like, April, you're going to need to use these. And then Big Mike just took over and chaos ensued.
You had about 10 uses of that wand, I think, across the entire guest. And I was like, that should be enough to get through the heist. And I'm sitting there, and you've used like 3 of them in the first game just to prank people. Just like, there's a key difference. I think that the key difference between the 2 guests that we had during this era of the show is when Rachel came on, she did nothing but pour water on all of your ideas and all of your confidence and like your characters' grand schemes and everything. And when April came on, you did nothing but pour petrol onto the fire constantly. And it was amazing.
I did play with you guys for a good year though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's this quote from you, April, which I love. You look like a bunch of pricks.
Pretty astute, I'd say.
That wasn't you saying it to us. That was Big Mike saying it to the Danger Club. But even still, it was so funny in the show. You were just like, you look like a bunch of pricks. Then I want to talk about this book.
Yes. Oh my God.
This is the only thing I want to talk about, really.
No one has ever regretted starting a bit more than I feel you did halfway through this bit.
So hot. Why? I wish viewers, listeners, I wish you could have seen facial expressions at that point, because I think you can hear in my voice the instant regret. But my face, I had no idea what was going to come out.
Who is it that says? One of us says, "No, let's let this play out. I want to hear this."
That was you,
it
wasn't
might have
it?
been 2 people. It might have been me. I can't remember. I didn't note it down who said it.
Yeah.
I just wrote down that someone said that.
I've got this memory of you just kind of leaning forward and just being like, "Let this play out," just staring at me. I might have made that up.
Oh my God. Yeah, that probably was me. Oh, thank you, Colin. Thank you, past Colin, because it was great. So, do you remember the chapters and what they were?
Girl Scout cookie.
There were the Girl Scout cookie initiative.
Yeah. Where you go and it's Trojan horse.
Yep.
That
was something you just made up on the spot.
Yeah.
I love that as well, because
Never heard
as a
that
player,
before.
you can see you're talking about the rules and stuff like that. You're also remembering that you're in a world that doesn't have things like Trojan horses and all the history that we have. So all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, no, I've said something I shouldn't say, and now I need to explain that.
And then was it Scott that later was like, I don't even know what a Girl Scout is. I was like, oh god.
Yeah. There was so much that came out that we just leapt upon. Right, do you remember the second chapter that you mentioned?
The second one, that was just to do with Shania, wasn't it? Shesna at that point.
Really specific to Shania.
Yeah.
Because John was next to me, and I think I was staring into his eyes with deep, like, help me look. Shania up a window.
Yeah, the window cleaner.
Window
that's
cleaner.
Chapter 8.
And then she just lets us in the front door as if Dan was ever going to let that fly. And then the last one, I do remember the last one, which was 23. 23?
Yeah.
Because I remember Fulton going 23, and it didn't catch on. 23, and then that was the kind of, we infiltrate as the waiting staff, and that one I did think of before, not as part of a book, but it's just as like, that's probably how we're going to get into this place.
I love the idea of this big scrapbook that's just got loads of I imagine
really
it just being
specific.
huge.
Yeah.
And it's really specific, and it's just like loads of different color pages.
Yeah, it's got like,
loads
you
of
know, the
drawings.
scissors with the little triangular scissors. It's all cut out and shapes and glitter everywhere.
Yeah. It's just literally a school project.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Yeah.
And it's the fact that I think you said she said she's published a book on it, and it's like, what? So she's self-published this book in their house, and the other person who lives in this house is blind, so only she reads this book.
Yeah.
Very wise.
She reads it to him as he's going to sleep.
Also, like, she's 13, right? Which is young for a gnome, I'm imagining.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't believe everything she says, but she believes everything she says.
We do. We big up the blind and the visually impaired in the episode, which is really nice. You know, big up the blind.
I want to say about a week or two after this episode aired, there was a knock at the door, and the RNIB, the Society for the Blind, were signing people up for donations coming around. I don't know how they got in our building. Like, it's like they somehow got through the door and were going door to door in it. And no one has ever come round collecting donations. And I would never sign up to I would never just give my card details to a stranger on the door. That's insane. But this episode had come out, and we'd made a lot of blind jokes. And although we'd qualified them, I have now given £8.50 to the RNIB every month since that episode ended.
My uncle's visually impaired, so I grew up with someone who's visually impaired. So I'm very aware of how hard it is and stuff like that. So yeah,
but this
I
is
think
great.
Saying big up the blind was okay to say. But yeah, absolutely, we should give generously to any charity that you feel resonates with you, Dangerlings, and everyone here on the podcast. Just because,
just like Fulton gives to the poor.
Fulton's
mission
carpet
were you
bombing.
on this whole, like...
I know, man.
I love it. Yeah. I don't
Does
really
that happen
know.
in this episode?
Yeah, well, I
it
go
does,
on.
doesn't it?
Happened in the previous one as well.
There
Where
is
it's just like,
yeah.
one for you.
But there's just a point where Ross is like, I'm not even there.
Yeah.
Where are you?
He just keeps disappearing. Yeah. Like there's a later episode as well. He just like disappears again.
I don't know if this is the one where I give a woman 50 gold pieces.
It is.
It is indeed. Yes.
Yeah.
This is the genesis of the Queen of Rats. This is Grandma Catlets, who you give the money to, that she then uses later on to become the queen.
I'm going to buy all the cats. Is that what she said?
You're basically Batman. You create your own villains.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
And I
listen,
will destroy them.
we find out about this dance party, which is under the sea themed, very Back to the Future. Love that. We get them. The idea is we're going to get them to hire us as a band And yeah, someone talks about like there's an maybe there's an audition and get a copy of the stage. I think James, you say. James, can you explain to the Dangerlings that don't know what is the stage?
The stage is a newspaper that used to, still does. I think there's physical copies, but it's certainly online these days.
Yeah.
Just cataloguing what's going on in the industry and sort of theatres closing at the moment. A lot of bad news.
Yeah.
Hopefully things will get a bit more positive. But yeah, that is the stage. Been going for years, darling.
And the stage used to have auditions in it. It probably still does, but there was a period of time, especially when I left drama school, where it just had pole dancing.
Yeah.
And that was it. It just
nice.
Did you ever?
It just had like I did once. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I didn't I wasn't what they were looking for.
Oh,
apparently.
shame.
What?
But, you know.
Did you wear your sparkly heels?
Yeah, I went topless and everything.
Oh, weird that they didn't.
More fool them.
That was a great routine.
There's no
People don't want their dancer to do an acoustic set halfway through, Colin. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know. I took my
but he
ukulele
did it. He did it upside
Anyway, here's
down.
Wonderwall.
Here's one of my own songs, even worse. Yeah. This is about someone you've never met before, which Wonderwall is as well. Anyway, in this funny, gets a ukulele in this episode, doesn't he? We talk about Happy Birthday and how Paul McCartney owns the rights to that. I still don't know if that's 100% true, but we think it is. And then we say tweet us Paul McCartney. That's very important that we get that because that goes on a list. April, we've got a tweet us list. It's a whole thing. You don't need to know about it. Well, you do now. So it's great. You do know about it. And then Caragor gives a 13-year-old a gun.
That was me just doing a lot of gun stuff, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to pick up.
No, I don't think so. Just a bit
I
of
think
wind.
people know from that sound effect. It's gun stuff. Yeah.
I'll add some sound effects of you spinning a gun in there, like a little bit later. And then you choose to go invisible again and slap Shania again.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
just trying to help.
Yeah, and then we all start slapping each other, which is really funny. Is that the first time we start slapping each other? Is that like the third or fourth?
No.
I can't remember.
No, I think we've done it before. We punched Velda, I think, didn't we?
Episode 3, I believe, was the first time you punched Velda.
Yeah. But there was one when we're leaving the first village, Murder's Mark or whatever.
Yep.
And we'll start slapping and punching each other off the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, we hear about this guy, Creel.
Recycling.
We hear about this guy, Creel. This is the person that your character knows, isn't it, April? Like, you know Creel. And that's the kind of information that Dan gave you beforehand,
Yeah,
right?
it's the kind of information I had written right in front of me, but didn't, give out until I remembered 20 minutes into just slapping everyone.
It's all right. It happens to us all, man. It happens to us all.
Yeah, so Dan let me know that Creel works on the ground floor. He's the right-hand man to the infamous Uncle Gooden.
Uncle Gooden, yeah. And he's got a mirror that he speaks in his office to Uncle Gooden, doesn't he? Yeah, the two-way mirror. Is it a two-way mirror? I guess it is, but in a different way, isn't it? It's not a two-way mirror like in an interrogation room or something.
It's like a magic
It's like a
mirror
magical
on the
mirror,
wall.
Yeah. I guess it's like the one in Harry Potter. Oh, a little bit of a link there, isn't it? I'm joking. Let's not talk about that. Yeah, and then we come up with the plan. We have the elixir of love potion, which I'm so glad we didn't just drink. Because April, we found this back in when we were doing a previous episode. We found this potion and we were toying with the idea of just like pouring it down someone's neck at the time. Just
see what happens.
Watching them go, just watching Velda go madly in love with Bolton for an hour or something.
God. Can you imagine having a DM that, Dan? God, just imagine it right now.
Oh, it would have been great. I would have just said what happened, then gone and made a coffee and just left you guys to it for an hour.
Yeah, but then we talk about the love potion and we try to figure out a way that we talk about putting it in brownies or they need to drink the whole thing, so it's a bit weird if we bake it. We might sort of reduce it, that we have a plan. We're going to go and stick it in his drink. We're going to make him fall in love with someone. We're not sure who yet, but then we're good. Yeah. And then we have the weapons in the instrument cases. We talk about that. Dan, this is feasible, right? Actually hiding weapons.
Potentially. So I tell you what I'll do, because I don't want to eat up loads of time while we have April on the show, but on the next episode I'll talk about how the heist is structured in terms of how your plan works, how your plan shapes the adventure, because it is really interesting mechanically how it is all put together. But the instrument cases, until we get to the one a little bit further in where Drum was, of course, talking about a case with a fake double bass in it, which is a real thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good idea. We get into it a bit when you get the fake case, because if there's one thing you guys don't like having limited resources for an adventure. And we've done it sort of twice, really, where you've had to infiltrate somewhere. Yeah. And it's like, okay, the one thing is you have to choose very specifically the things that you're going to take on this mission, and anything else you need, you've got to find when you get in there. And the first thing all of you do is like, right, so that's bollocks, let's find a way to not do that, and spend an entire episode getting around that rule so you could just have all your kit.
Yeah, man. We have the Girl Scout song.
Yes.
Yes. Let me just let
good.
you know, I was never a Girl Scout, just obviously. The Girl Scout song came out. Nobody even asked me for it. I think I might have zoned out and then zoned back in and just started singing.
Oh shit, gotta do something. Start singing. It was great. It was really, really good. We have a tweet. It's Alan Moore. So we've got Alan Moore and Paul McCartney in this episode. Really good.
Nice.
And then when Christoph lays out the plan at the end, I just wrote down, it sounds so awesome. Even though he's like, so this is what you're going to do. And what's the word I'm looking for? The tone of voice is like, this is never going to work.
Slightly disparaging.
That's the what. Right. Yeah. Thank you, James. Yeah. It's like, this is never going to work. But it sounds so good when he says it. So yeah, well done for recapping that, Dan. That was great. And then that's the end of the episode. Really, we have a plan. We're ready to go.
Yeah, man.
Exciting.
How did we feel at the time? Let's ask Ross. How did you feel at the time about our plan?
I was going to say ask April, because she's here. You can ask me that next week, mate.
No, I want to know.
Come on, Ross.
I know what you feel, because you came up with a different plan.
Me? Oh, yeah. I wanted to use the blood of the innocent poor people to... that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
How did you find it, April?
Yes.
I put a lot of trust in you guys that you were going to pull us through. I think I'd lost myself numerous times during the conversation of what the plan actually was. But I felt really strongly about the band. I believed in us as a band. I believed that it's a great way to go, and I kind of enjoyed the fact that it was different to the servant thing. It was like, okay, no, we've decided to go much more rogue and become a band and do a show. And I really loved the love potion element. And
you got really into it as the band manager. I don't know if it's this one or the next one, where you're like, you could be so much more Karabah. I mean, sorry. Like, where you really wanted Shaka Bonhara to actually really
go for her dream.
Yeah. That was really fun. That was really nice, actually. So, listen, April, this is nearly the end of Danger Recall. It's a little bit longer than usual, but that's okay, because sometimes we go over. Where do you see Mike? Where do you think that Big Mike is right now?
So, I think Big Mike's got a lot of loose ends to tie up. She's a lone wolf, so she's probably working by herself. I think her work with the Danger Club was the first time I think she'd ever worked with a group. It worked as part of a team, which is why she was so chaotic and hyperactive and dysfunctional, untrusting, but super excited to have these people around her. So I think she's probably on her own missions, slapping a lot of people, I'm betting, probably drinking people under the table and playing with guns still. Just, causing havoc.
Nice. April, it's been brilliant to have you along Danger Recall and the rest of my guests. Of course, it's always good to have you here. Whenever you want to come back, I think the door's open. So, always. Whenever you want to come back, especially, I would have to talk about the main show because Dan would have to write you in, and that's, but that's
Easily
Dan's,
done.
That's Dan's. Yay, there we go. So anytime you've got a free, I don't know, if we're doing a few episodes and you're free, come along, man, and have a little record. That would be great.
So exciting.
It'd be good to see Big Mike on the main show again.
Yeah.
Team, thank you to all my guests. Thank you to Ross Harmston.
Goodbye, Dangerlings. That's my Big Mike impression.
That was nice. Thank you to James Lockhart.
Cheerio, everybody.
That was a good impression as well. Thank you to Dan Thompson.
Goodbye, Dangerlings.
Nice. And that was good. It was good. It was good. It was a really good effort. And thank you so much for joining us, April Hughes.
See you later, schmucks.
Yay! Bye, Dangerlings. Bye.
No, guys.